Just getting ready to put this back together. I Loctited this stud in here. Use a little bit of red Loctite. I kind of checked them all. I got a little steel ruler here, and I'm not really measuring it for measurement, but just to see where that's right on the 8 there, and then this one is right on the 8, and I really tightened this one down a lot. This one was sticking up about 1/8 of an inch, so I just tightened it down some more. And I'm just kind of checking these right on the 8 and right on the 8. So but when I put them in here, I was wondering about the shoulder here. I was thinking the shoulder should be down at the bottom, maybe. I don't remember this when I just tore apart this engine. No, that engine over there. That's an 85. So I don't remember. I didn't remember the shoulder because it would have crossed my mind that, to me, it just thinks that you would bottom it out here, Loctite it in. That just seems common sense to me. But so I'm just looking in the manual here, and there was 3 different types of studs depending on what year. So the number 12 one, number 12 down here, is cylinder stud, early 1985. So it looks like it threads inside this one, like it's got a nut on the end of it. And then 12A, this one with no collar on it. This one has no collar on it, and that's where I think mine is over there. And that says late 85. So I'm pretty sure that's what I've got, because I don't remember seeing that. And so that's a late 85. And then 12B is 1988 and later, and that's with the shoulder on it. Well, that's what I got. So this is a 1990, and it shows the shoulder up top there. So I got this all cleaned out, ready to put the base gasket on, ready to put her together, and I got everything blown off and clean. Everything looks in good shape. So I think I'll start on the assembly here. I'm looking at both base gaskets for both cylinders, and they're both identical. It has a hump on this side and a groove on that side. And I'm just making sure the other gasket is identical. Hump on this side, bump on that side, all the holes are identical. Because, put that one down there, this hole right here, just a plain steel hole, no hump around it like these two, is for the dowel pin. And there's the dowel pin there. That's the only dowel pin. So that means the hump goes down. You could put it on the other way by mistake, I think, but the hump goes down, and the hole with the squish plate around it goes around the oil return hole there. So can only go one way. It's a clickety thing there. Okay. So I think I'm ready for the cylinder. Get the ring holes lined up properly. They should be facing the front towards the intake, 120 degrees apart. One over here. I just put the other ones here. So one's there, one's there. That's about right. And then the oil rings should be spread apart. I got one there, and I'm pretty sure the other one's going to be there. Get my light. I got one here, which is all right. One there. That's okay, they're separated. As I got these split apart here, one there, one there. I can turn the piston down. Yeah, get my wrench here. Okay. Just don't want that turn in there. Could put it in gear, I guess. No, I'll leave it like that for now. Okay, I got a light coating of oil on there. I just use my fingers and let the weight of the cylinder come down. The first ring, with the chamfer in the bottom of the barrel, the first ring slipped on like by itself. I'm sure if it was a fresh bore and fresh rings, it wouldn't go on that easy, but that went pretty easy. This has still got the old O-ring on here. If you can see that there, I got to peel that off and get the new oil ring. I'll turn that piston up to top dead center. Just keeps any chance of debris getting in there. Go like that. That's paint right there, if you see that. I keep going to scratch it off and it's just a piece of paint. The tape missed it. Okay, let me peel this off and get the new O-ring. Here's the new head gasket. The kit comes with two different types. It comes with this blue one, and I've used these blue ones before, and they work good. This one's kind of rubbery and sticky, but you know, they're both identical. I kind of like the sticky one here a little bit better. Now it just needs the O-rings. There's two O-rings, one for either one of these. Dowel pin sticking out there, like that. Just make sure you get that gasket stays aligned on there till I get the head on. And then the bolts. I decarboned the edge of the cylinder here as well too. It had a buildup of carbon there a little bit. I want to go on the other side and make sure those O-rings go in there right. located perfectly flat, where that O-ring will get stuck underneath. I cleaned these all up. I'm gonna go with the stock push rods, because the adjustable ones are like 170 bucks, like the good ones. And I don't have that money for that right now, so I am gonna go with these ones. Okay, I'm gonna get the torque specs for these. The manual here has a great description on how to torque it. This is rear cylinder, front cylinder. We're starting on the rear, and we're gonna start at number 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And the first sequence is between 7 and 9 pounds. Since we know this engine's been apart before, at least once, each time you retorque a bolt, every time you retorque a bolt, you're supposed to add, like, I think it's 3%. I'm just gonna torque it right till 9 right off the bat the first time around. It's not gonna hurt, this is just the first torque. Start here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second round is 12 to 14. I'm going to set it for 14. Now this last procedure, same sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to turn this 90 degrees. If it's there, I want to turn it here to 90. But I want to see approximately what the footage is. I think it's around 70 pounds or something like that. Maybe I'm going to set it for 50. I want to see. I'll set it for 50. I just want to see about how many pounds I did. There's 40. Okay, so I'm going to set it there. So I pretty much need to be just off this side here. Right there. I got it set for 40 foot-pounds and didn't quite get there. So this is going to be about to here. A little bit more because I hit the fins. Right there. This one, 90 is going to be here, right there. 90 is going to be here. That should be it. After I run it, I can double check these ones. These ones obviously loosened up the last time. I'm tempted to give them a little bit more. That's not even, that's 40 pounds. It didn't even click, but I know I could feel it was getting close to clicking. Okay, so push rods, rock arm cover. I gotta clean the rock arm covers up first and the push rods. I don't think I had it on record. Shoot, okay, you gotta take the push rods out. And, well, I'll show you this one here. Put the rocker arm assembly on first. Put this on first, and then slide your push rods in. If you're still using the original ones, all the adjustable ones, you don't have to do this. And then make sure they're located into the followers there. Okay, I'm going to show you the other issue that the previous builder of this bike must have done wrong. And it's this. I was just sorting out the bolts. For this rocker box assembly, and you can see this one's shorter. There's supposed to be 2 short ones, 2 long ones, and I can bet you in the front cylinder I'm going to find 3 short ones, 1 long one. So I'm going to have to either take apart this, which I think I might do, because I just got to take off this top cover and check those 4 bolts, because I'm just about done here. And I'll put the 2 long ones into 1 short one, and I'll hold off until I take this one off. If not, I got another spare engine over there with the proper bolts in it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to pop this cover off. Here's the rear cylinder. 3 long ones, 1 short one. Here's the front cylinder. I got 1 long one, 2 short ones. If you look at the shank, see how much longer the shank is before the threads start? Well, you just take one of these short ones. So I can't get the last one out yet without taking the coil off or taking all the other bolts off. But if I pull this one up like that, you can see the threads start right there. I hold this one up to it. This is the short bolt, and it lines up exactly. So this is a short bolt in here too. The 2 short ones should be on this side, the 2 long ones on that side. And yeah, somebody got those mixed up. That goes to that one there. And so now I'm gonna take a long one from here, put it over there. Take a short one from here. There we go, 2 shorts, 2 longs. That's exactly what they did. You gotta remember with this one here, I gotta put those 2 bolts in first before I slide this in. Okay, I'm gonna do that right now. Got the 2 short bolts in here first. So I gotta slide this in and then push the push rods in. I'm just going to leave everything loose. Stick the intake push rod in. That's the blue one, yep. Lift this up like that. Like that. Got all the O-rings there. Stick this one in. Those are located in the followers there. There's the 2 long bolts. Yeah, we'll get them started. Here's the 3 little 1/4" bolts with a 7/16 head on them. Get them all in there. They're all the same length. I never tighten anything up until I get everything screwed in case something doesn't align right. So far everything's threading in good. I've yet to find an engine I've taken apart without something not being quite right. That difference in bolts there wouldn't have made too much a difference in the long run. You know, maybe it could have stripped out if you over tightened it, but the 5/16 bolts, the 4 of them, they're torqued between 15 and 18 pounds. I'm putting them at 18. I'm going for the higher side. There's 20, so 19, 18. Okay, they're all snug. Now I can probably only torque these 2. And then there is a way to torque the other 2. To try it. There's 18. I'm gonna have to get an extension on here. I just do it by feel, but I can show you how you can do it. The torque wrench. 18. Okay, let me find a tool here, see if we can do it. Okay, you can't get at these 2 bolts here to torque them with a torque wrench. So you can do it another way. If you got a 6-inch wrench, 6-inch from center to center. Center of that hole to the center of the grasp here, that's a 6-inch wrench. This is a 12-inch torque wrench. So I'm going to put that wrench on there and I'm going to torque it like this. Now obviously I've increased the torque on this thing because of I've added an extra 50% more leverage. So I'm going to reduce the torque by 50%. So instead of 18 pounds, I set it for 9 pounds. And then what I've got here is I just took a bolt with 2 half-inch nuts on it, put it in there. And you want this to be in a straight line too, because that's going to affect the torque. I got the wrong, need the half-inch right here. I may have already tightened it up enough with my bare hands, but let's see what we got here. Like that, so I've reduced the torque to, so it's pretty much a straight line. It's an awkward thing to do, but it can be done. I just do it by feel, but I'm just showing you how you guys can do it. Need 3 hands. So I've already got that there. Do this one. So I'm there. I already snugged those up pretty tight. I had to do that for a lot of the Norton cylinder bolts because there's no way you can get one of these on there. Okay, now I'm gonna torque all these 2 Allen heads and the 3 7/16 bolts. They're all 1/4 inch threads, and I believe they're 12 to 14 pounds. Let me have a look here. They're around 12 pounds. Okay. Rocker cylinder head bolts. Rocker cover bolts. The 5/16 ones are 15 to 18 foot-pounds. The 1/4 inch ones are all 10 to 13 pounds. So I'll be setting them at 13. Just putting the O-rings in here. What I have to do sometimes is, where is it? I use a little bit of this, but you can use anything. Gasket eliminator, gasket sealant. I'm just using it to hold that in place, that O-ring there, because it's always flops out, falls out. If you don't get it in it perfect, you're gonna have an oil leak. So I just put a dab in the corners, and it just kind of tacks it into place, holds it there. This one's sitting in pretty good, so I didn't have to do it to this one. It's gonna sit like that. And then the top cover, I gotta stick those 2 screws at the back in first, or I'll never get them in. But I gotta clean those screws up. These 4 covers screws came with just a steel washer and a rubber gasket. The new ones come with a copper washer, rubber gasket. So I'm just getting them all in there. Copper washer, rubber gasket. I got a bit of dirt inside here, so I'm going to clean these out a little better. Okay, see if I can get this in there. There's a fair bit of alignment too you can do with these 3 to get them lined up properly too. They shift around quite a bit. That's why you want these threads nice and clean and the Allen heads cleaned out, because you got to turn it by hand. There's no other way. That's why a lot of guys give up and put a bolt there. I should have blew those threads out, but maybe I washed it out. Now you gotta look and make sure you got all the gaskets are staying in there all right. That's why I don't care. A lot of guys don't put that little bit of goop in there, but I do. Just a put goop on that one too. This one, no problem. This one, they slide out. Now you can actually tap this with a rubber mallet. Hardest part is finding tools. Like, where the hell? I just had that in my hand. That Allen head wrench went to. Pop the push rod covers in. They're done, those spin freely. And make sure these locate down into that O-ring there, like that. And this one locates up into that O-ring good like that. Push that up. That's located in there. There, it's located in there. Make sure this one's located all the way up in there. Like that, like that. Okay, that's that. One cylinder done. A little bit of that goop I put in there will ooze out a little bit. Just wipes off. It doesn't really harden that stuff. I'm gonna go get that starter motor tomorrow. That's more important than the push rods. Push rods I can change anytime. And there's no need to. The stock ones were fine. There was no ticking, no noise, no nothing. There's a procedure for checking those too, even the factory ones. They rarely ever change. I remember even in the shop, I think I only ever had to change one once. I've forgotten how you measure it again, but I can read up on it. Okay. There's kind of the before, and there's the after. Looks much better. I'm gonna still paint all these chips and the back in here too before I put the starter motor in. But that looks a lot better, and that baby shouldn't leak now. Got the new stud in there. And getting the new nut for this side tonight for Peter. Okay, I gotta pull this one apart. So far, with this cylinder, I found this front 7/16 bolt was just hand tight. They forgot to tighten it. It wasn't tight at all. I'm just going to tear this thing down. Don't need to explain it again. Same as the rear. I'll just fast forward through it. Three out of the 4 bolts on the front cylinder came out with the studs. So he's probably Loctite at the top and didn't Loctite the bottom, which is the way it's supposed to be. Hope I can get those out. I should be able to. This one's still in here. There's the other one. Everything looks good, just carboned up. I'm going to decarbon the piston while it's in the cylinder still. I'm just going to turn it to the top. It's a lot easier to scrape off, and I don't have to worry about dirt going down into the engine. And I'll plug the 2 lifter holes here. Okay, I gotta get this all cleaned up today. I gotta get this motor all back together. I got the studs all Loctited and cleaned in there. Loctited and cleaned up. And the bolts, I ran the tap through all the bolts because they were crystallized Loctite in it all. Well, they're like a bolt nut, these things. But I cleaned all the threads up in them. And lubed them up. And these are all Loctite in. I got the base gasket on. I cleaned the piston all up. I got the rings all in position. I'm all ready to put the cylinder on and the head on. I got them all painted up right there. So I already did this show a few times before, so I'm just going to put this camera on fast forward here, or time lapse probably, and get this all back together. And get the carb on, the intake on, and then I'll touch up some of the paint. I got the starter motor yesterday. There's the old one. Here's the new one. There's a little bit of an issue. The shaft coming out is 5 mil shorter than the old one. See how much farther this one sticks out? It looks to me more than 5 mil, but it's only 5 mil. Let me try something. Hold it like, if I hold it like that. Yeah, I got it pressed up against that housing there, and that's how much I'm short. Like, it's 5 mil. So I got this here. I'm going to cut this in half, put a sleeve on it, and spread that apart. I think I'm going to spread it apart 10 mil because I've got lots of room. You can see there's a circlip in here. It only goes in that far, so I could easily go in another 5 mil. And when this is in that far that way, it only goes in that far that way. So yeah, I'm going to increase it 10 mil, give me a little bit more bite. So Peter's getting me the sleeve tonight for that. We'll cut it and weld it. Okay, got the cylinders all back on and without incident, I guess. When you're sticking these solid lifters in, you got to have that rocker box, every bolt loose, and then stick them up and get them located into the push rod locators, and then you can torque everything down. I put the piston at top dead center on compression stroke, so the block pretty much sat down flush without even turning the engine over. I'm just going to put the intake manifold on. This is the time to do it before you get the motor mount back on. And that's that. What are you doing, doggy? I know, I'm right here. A little bit of a trick to these. These are marked. The original ones are marked. R for rear, F for front. And that's the front one there. And then you stick the O-ring on here. Got my doggy helper in here today for a few minutes. These things, you gotta assemble these things bang on, or you're gonna get an air leak. And so that the cone side goes down. It's kind of like a wedge fit. And then the flat side goes against the head. The little slotted part goes towards those two bolts back there, which are, got them here somewhere. Where are they? I got 4 of those somewhere. Yeah, I'm gonna clean these up. I like to wire brush them all off, get everything nice and clean, all the threads clean. A couple phone calls came in. Anyways, yeah, it's pretty critical to get this intake manifold in properly. I just get them all set in there, just loose, snug them up. Sometimes I'll even put a little bit of a gasket sealer on there, that's semi-drying stuff. Just a little bit. I don't have anything on it today here. I got everything clean, so should be good. And then just get that located in there. If the face of the timing cover is perfectly vertical, then this should be perfectly vertical. I'm going to get my level and just check that. I'm going to put the carburetor on, everything on. This is still just snug, it's not tightened up yet. And then when I bolt it into the heads, it'll straighten it out. Tricky part's getting these cables in every time, and they're a pain. Not a big fan of it, but that one's easy enough. This is the return one. Have all the slack out of the cables up at the bars. Got to get all the slack out of the cable. Up here, I had a little bit more slack in there. Got a little spring in there first. Oh, now that comes out. Maybe that's the way to do it. Take the slack out. Just a bit of it so it doesn't fall out. Same with the throttle cable. Take the slack out. Just for now. Okay, so we got those two babies in there. Put the choke over there. Fuel line over there. Get this wire out of here. Okay, that goes there. Cables are hooked up. Okay. Everything's set there. I gotta turn the idle back up a bit, but I'll do that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm gonna put this plate on. This plate is what locates it here. Let me get my Allen head wrench for that. These 3 screws are pretty important to get them snugged up. Some guys will torque them in there, or Loctite them in. I don't like to Loctite them in, then you never get them out. But you could put a little bit of blue Loctite on it. These screws have caused more damage in Harleys over the years than anything. They come loose, they get sucked into the intake. They get sucked into the intake and destroy your engine. I just make sure I get them nice and tight if I feel, and we're to the point where you don't want to strip them. A little dab of blue Loctite wouldn't hurt for sure. I think that's the right socket. I get it to where they bottom out, and then just maybe a quarter turn more. This one slipped out on there. Okay. Now I'll tighten these 2 up. Those 4 screws are still loose in there. Fuel line goes. Does it go like that? Maybe it does go like that, yeah. Okay, now I gotta tighten up those screws in there. I gotta go to the other side, snug up those 2 first. It's nice and open here now. Just get them snug first, and I'll do the other side, just to where they're getting snug. You gotta do them all up equally. This is a Screaming Eagle airbox, everything on there, but I put the stock cover on, so it looks stock. And I'll adjust these cables. I'm going to loosen off the return cable. And then I'm going to play with the throttle cable here. Take the play out with the pull cable. I should probably put new cables on. Yeah, I should probably put new cables on. Anyway, yeah. This is the pull cable here. This one here. And I like to leave about 1/8 of an inch there. That might be a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. And then take the slack out with the other cable. Pull up the slack on that one. I want to make sure there's always slack in that return cable. Okay. Okay, got the breather on, got the gas tank on, got a better clamp, well, a tighter clamp on here. Those other ones just didn't tighten up enough. Just gonna put the starter motor on. Probably do that tomorrow. This is the sleeve I've got to extend by, I'm going to extend it by 10 millimeters. It needs to be at least 5. I'm going to extend it by 10. That way I get more contact in the shaft. And got this side all together, got the horn on, fuel lines are all on, tightened up. I got to put the linkage back on. This is just plain steel, just plain steel. And I just wire wheeled it off to get all the rust off the metal, and then I just run it through my buffer, and look at that, it looks like chrome. That's just plain steel though. There's no chrome on that at all. That's amazing. That just took like maybe 1 minute to 2 minutes. Yeah, then put the primary back, put the starter motor in, put the primary on, and this bike's done. Gonna put some oil in here. I may have to go get some oil I could use 2050. You know what I think's a good oil for in here? Everybody always wonders, what kind of oil do you put in the primary? And Sportster oil. Sportster oil, I think it's 2050, but it's red. And because the Sportster transmission runs in the motor oil. And so it's good for gears and chain. And plus it's a different color, red. So if you get an oil leak on your bike and you see a little red under there, well then you know it's from your primary, right? And your gear case oil, you can smell that. It's a hypoid oil. It's a different flavor. Okay, that bike's getting pretty damn near done right now. Just that starter motor. Starter motor, and she's done. Could change the bulb in there, but I'm going to leave that for after. That's it for this video.